Ghana remains tightened against any potential terrorist attacks. International Day of Street Child March. And yellow fever in Angola spreads to neighboring DR Congo, killing 21 people. It's time for News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Sayoko Kwakutre.
And I am for you, Darko. Robert Frimpongman so is here with us in the studio to do the sign language. The police administration has given an assurance that stringent security measures have been put in place to avert any untoward eventuality. The Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Cephas Arthur, has, however, advised the general public to be security conscious and vigilant and report any suspicious developments in their communities.
What we are saying is that the people of Ghana should calm down. They should dispel all the allegations and rumors, what they have heard, what they have seen happen in our neighboring countries and other things, and have confidence in the police that indeed we have put measures in place to secure them. The security agencies are in talks with the hotels as to how best to secure the hotels. Already, some ultimatums have been given to them to provide certain facilities or gadgets, security gadgets, to provide security there. There have been a series of meetings to fashion out the best way of securing our hotels and securing people who patronize our hotels. What are we supposed to do as members of the public so that we can help fight terrorism? We can help prevent terrorism. We are saying that in the ensuing days, we are going to embark on a very rigorous public education. You cannot go rushing to pick a lady's purse on the ground thinking that you have found a fortune anymore. If you see certain things, you have to be very curious and you have to approach it with caution. You need to call the police where you find briefcases, things that are valuable, abandoned. They could no longer be fortunes left to be found. There could be a time bomb waiting to explode. So when you find such things, call the police, call the military, call the security agencies, and let them come and see what is there.
Human Rights Court in Accra has adjourned to tomorrow, 13th of April, a case involving the suspended NPP chairman, Mr. Paul Afoko, and the NPP. At a news conference in Accra on Tuesday, spokesman for Paul Afoko, Nana Yawase, explained that the adjournment is to allow the filing of all appropriate documents by the parties for a pre-trial settlement or case management conference starting on Wednesday. The NPP's National Executive Committee suspended Mr. Paul Afoko in October last year for what it describes as misconduct following a recommendation by the party's disciplinary committee. Mr. Paul Afoko has dragged the party to court in a bid to have a suspension overturned per the party's constitution.
The documents or processes have been filed, some have been served on other parties, others have not been served. The court today said that even though the plaintiff has filed what we call the checklist or his checklist, same was yet to be served on the defendants. The court also said that there was the need for the matter to be gone to expeditiously, and that none of the parties should be seen to be unduly delaying the process. And so the matter was adjourned to tomorrow, the 13th of April 2016, for the pre-trial settlement conference. The issue of Mr. Afoko allegedly commenting on the matter before the court came up, and rightly so, the court indicated that it cannot gag Mr. Afoko or anybody, much as all of us or any Ghanaian can speak his mind. That person must do so within the confines of the law. And that as a human rights court, he, as the judge, should be seen to be protecting free speech. This was said in court. So long as he doesn't comment on the merits of the matter before the court in the media, nobody can stop him from responding to allegations against him and which are not before the court for determination.
The Ayawaso branch of the Village of Hope has organized a motivational forum for inmates to mark this year's International Day of the Street Child. Children are a blessing, and while some find themselves in comfortable environments, others live under very challenging conditions, forcing them eventually onto the streets. The 12th of April every year marks the International Day for Street Children. Globally, millions of children find themselves on the street by no fault of theirs. The situation in Ghana, as revealed by statistics, are very alarming. Some of these neglected children live and work on the street, while others spend much of their time hanging out in public places. Many do not go to school. A UN report says street children come from families with varied experiences, including death, isolation, poverty, mental illness, domestic violence, child abuse, and drug abuse. Some are later fortunate to have individuals and organizations help restructure their future. Fortunately, some grow up to become important persons in society. The chief executive of Freddy's Corner, Mr. Alfred Kolimati, is one such person who has risen from grass to grace. As the world marks the Day of the Street Child, he shared his experiences with the inmates of the Ayawaso campus of the Village of Hope in Accra. Freddy recalled the days when he sold items on the street to support himself and family. He later got into petty trading and now has a big phone company with several branches.
You will look at your present situation and it will look like you are a chicken. I was like you before. I never saw myself as a chicken. I knew I could fly. I made every attempt to fly. And today, I'm flying. Look for the eagle in you among the chickens.
The managing director of Hope Training Institute, Mr. Amos Asuma, said the institute trains street children and orphans in various vocational skills and later establishes them in their respective communities. Some of the beneficiaries spoke about their hope for the future.
I wanted to become a nurse, but I was not getting anyone to help me. But I made my mind that I will use my hand to do something. So I likely want to become a dressmaker.
Monsieur Adipam, me pam mba nema nyina ene me design. To afidie me say baby aduru yame adum manya me sano adwuma a dache me beboa me ho.
The 2016 International Day of the Street Child was observed under the theme Providing Meaningful Hope Beyond the Street.
A Ghanaian entrepreneur has challenged the youth to take initiatives that will lead them to own businesses. Mr. Deridim Dadzi, the chief executive of Dream Mobile, an information technology company, told a gathering at an innovation and career fair organized by the University of Mines and Technology UMAT at Takwa that innovation and creativity are powerful tools that can lead to rapid socio-economic development.
The Takwa Nsoye municipality of the Western region is the mining hub of the country and has its fair share of developmental challenges. Over the years, the Assembly has been finding ways to surmount these challenges. Every quarter, the Assembly, as part of its social accountability program, interacts with the people to render account of its stewardship and share ideas on how to move the municipality forward. The 2016 first quarter town hall meeting of the Assembly took place at Simpa, a fast-growing community in the municipality. The forum brought together Assembly members, unit committee members, heads of department, traditional rulers, the clergy, representatives of Muslim communities, farmer groups, and other stakeholders. The Municipal Budget Officer, Mr. Moses Mensah, explained how the Assembly used its internally generated funds and funds from the central government and other donors. The Assistant Planning Officer of the Assembly, Mr. Malcolm Yando, also presented to the people the various developmental activities the Assembly undertook in 2015. The Takwa Inswaye Municipal Chief Executive, Mrs. Christina Kobna, noted that it is the vision of the Assembly to become a world-class municipality by 2017. She touched on some key development projects to be carried out this year. There was a question and answer session during which the people sought clarification on some development issues.
In other news, the Ghana Journalists Association has launched the annual Media Awards in Accra. The association says this year's ceremony will be held at the State Banquet Hall on the 20th of August. Deadline for submission of entries is May 16. The Ghana Journalists Association is the umbrella organization for all journalists in Ghana.
There are 5 categories in this year's GJA Media Awards. Category 1 will have separate awards for radio, television and print in the areas of news reporting, sports, education and features. Awards for Category 2 will be for both print and electronic media. The areas include investigative reporting, photojournalism, arts, entertainment and domestic tourism. Kojo Baredu Award for business, finance and economic reporting. Small and micro-scale enterprises, environment, health, development journalism for furthering the SDGs, parliamentary reporting, human rights, political reporting, crime and court reporting. The rest are sanitation and hygiene, disability, telecommunications, digital journalism, anti-corruption, science, oil and gas, anti-narcotics, agriculture, local governance and decentralization and rural reporting. Category 3, which is specifically for the print media, has awards for both columnists and cartoonists. Media houses are advised to submit entries for Category 4, which includes democracy and peace building, best layouts and designed newspaper, best rural radio station and best radio and television program in Akan, Dagbani, Ewe, Gan, Hausa and Nzima. The General Secretary of the GJA, Mr. Dave Agbenu, said Category 5 is the overall best. Awards here are GJA Komla Dumont Most Promising Young Journalist and GJA Professor PV Answer Journalist of the Year. The GJA says the public can also send in nominations for their favorite candidates. The deadline for submission of all entries is 5 p.m. on Monday, May 16. The Director of Communications for the Catholic Bishops of Accra, Mr. Benedict Asoro, challenged journalists to follow up on stories to the latter.
We raise an issue, we talk about it for a few days, probably a few months, and it dies. You don't get a concluded paragraph. This is what I will plead with you. Even if you won an award on something, please make a follow-up.
The president of the GJA, Mr. Afel Moni, said the theme for this year's awards is very crucial as the country prepares for the polls.
As an association, we expect the 2016 elections to be hotly contested with great passion and high expectations, especially by politicians and political parties. The theme has been chosen in acknowledgement of the need for strong collaboration between the media and civil society to promote a rational and credible coverage of the election.
The GJA stressed that the competition is open to only members of the association and will be held at the State Banquet Hall on the 20th of August this year.
You're still watching News Hour. You're back with business.
evening. It's time to talk business. My name is Esther Edu Ohumewu. The World Bank says economic activity in sub-Saharan Africa slowed down in 2015, with GDP growth averaging 3.0%. This is down from 4.5% in 2014. The development, according to the bank, was driven mainly by low commodity prices and adverse domestic factors in many countries. This was disclosed during the launch of the Africa's Pulse, the World Bank's twice-yearly analysis of economic trends in sub-Saharan Africa.
Africa's Pulse is a twice-yearly World Bank group analysis of issues shaping Africa's economic prospects. The latest of Africa's Pulse shows economic downturn in sub-Saharan Africa, with growth dipping from 4.6% in 2014 to 3.7% in 2015. Fiscal deficits across the region are now larger than they were at the onset of the global financial crisis. The 2016 growth forecast remains subdued at 3.3%, way below the robust 6.8% growth in GDP that the region sustained in the 2003 to 2008 period. Overall, growth is projected to pick up in 2017 and 2018 to 4.5%. Also, commodity prices, particularly oil, which fell by 67% from June 2014 to December 2015, and a weak global growth, especially in emerging market economies, are behind the region's lackluster performance. The acting chief economist, World Bank Africa Region, and author of Africa's Pulse, Poonam Kuchan-Po, said as Africa undergoes rapid urban growth, there is a window of opportunity to harness the potential cities as engine of economic growth.
We find that African cities tend to be crowded, disconnected, and costly. They're costly for households, they're costly for firms, which means that African cities have more of a local reach rather than a global reach. And there tends to be a production of non-tradables versus tradables. So it's important to consider what kinds of policies would help make African cities more productive.
In an interview with GBC24, a communications specialist at the World Bank, Mr. Kennedy Fosu, threw more light on the World Bank's twice-yearly analysis of economic trends in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yearly report which the World Bank every year launches to tell various client countries what the economic situation is on the continent. This was what transpired here with about 9 countries.
In a special analysis, Africa's Pulse examined the region's policy response to the global economic downturn in 2008 and 2009 with an eye to discovering whether the countries have adequate macroeconomic policy space to withstand new, rising external headwinds that affect their economic growth.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources says the small-scale mining sector is critical to the economic transformation of the economy. Ni Osamil says the sector accounts for more than 30% of the country's gold production and employs a large number of people. The comments came at the launch of a support program for the training of small-scale mining companies on best mining practices.
Since the regularization of small-scale mining in Ghana in 1989, the number of registered small-scale miners has increased to over 650. The contribution of small-scale mining to the gold production has increased from 2.2% to 34% in 2015. In terms of employment, there are about 1 million people engaged in small-scale mining, with an unaccountable number of people dependent directly or indirectly on the sector. However, the other side effect of the small-scale mining is environmental degradation and pollution of water bodies. Since these small-scale miners do not have the requisite training to undertake environmental-friendly mining activities, the Australian government is supporting the University of Mines and Technology under the Direct Aid Programme with 60,000 Australian dollars to train the small-scale miners on international best practices. The acting Australian High Commissioner to Ghana, Tim Malikan, remains optimistic that the support will transform the operations of small-scale miners in the country.
Ultimately, it will contribute to an improvement in the skills of small-scale miners, the safety of the environment in which they work, and the environmental sustainability of small-scale mining projects. Now, significant mining industry is something that Australia and Ghana have in common, and therefore it makes sense for us to provide assistance where we can and share Australia's considerable mining expertise. And the Direct Aid Program is one such way we provide such assistance.
The Vice-Chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology, Professor Jerry Kuma, said the training program will help sanitize and reduce the pollution in the sector. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Ni Osamils, said developing the sector will go a long way to support the economy.
Whatever activities you do out there can end up with people losing their lives, not even just today, but for generations to come. If you use poisonous substances and they go into the soil, they go into the food chain, and people will not see the negative effects and feel the negative effects on their health today, but decades and years later. We don't really want to see that.
Mr. Collins Osei is the president of the Small Scale Miners Association of Ghana, and he thinks the program is timely and useful.
We need to train our people so that they will be aware that when they are working, they need to protect the environment, and the pollution of water too should be stopped.
The program, which is in phases, will consist of 6 training modules for miners in 9 mining districts and is expected to start in May.
The new Income Tax Act states that companies which previously enjoyed tax holiday will now pay 5% of tax. Gifts received will also be taxed since they are considered as part of one's income. The Chief Revenue Officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Mr. Dominic Knapp, said the act, which took effect on the 1st of January this year, aims to simplify, revise, and consolidate the income tax law.
In 2014, Ghana's tax revenue amounted to 17.07 billion Ghana cedis. The amount fell short of the target of 17.61 Ghana cedis. People in the public and private sector believed that if the GRA widened its tax base, it would not be necessary to overburden the few with increased taxes. The introduction of the Income Tax Act, Act 896, on the 1st of January this year did not go down well with the majority of Ghanaians. 4 months down the line, the Assistant Commissioner in charge of large taxpayers, Mr. Kweku Opoku Ajiman, says education on the new income tax has been successful and compliance is commendable.
As far as this new tax law is concerned, what it seeks to do is to bring more people under the tax net, which is what Ghanaians have been clamoring for anyway. They complain about the fact that only a handful of people pay taxes all the time. So what else should bring? So what this law seeks to do is to bring under the tax law as many people as possible.
The Chief Revenue Officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Mr. Dominic Knapp, said under the new act, lottery winners are now required to pay 5% of their monies as the money is termed as an investment income.
Individuals that actually are working and make contribution for worthwhile causes, donations for disasters and whatever, the law says that they can take it as an allowable deduction. Hitherto, it was not possible. You couldn't take it. If you contributed towards such causes, then it just went, like that. But this time around, you're allowed to take it, and then it will reduce your tax exposure.
Gifts received are now taxed as part of one's income earned and not separately as it was in the old act.
Let's now have the interbank rates. And now the price of some commodities on the international market. The insurance news. Insurance penetration is said to be very low in Ghana. In an interview with GBC24, a lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Mr. Lord Mensah, said lack of intensive education on insurance has contributed to the low penetration in the country. Mr. Mensah has urged the industry to introduce effective measures that will encourage people to take insurance policies.
Insurance penetration in sub-Saharan Africa is generally low. In Ghana, the level of insurance penetration is hovering around 3%. The National Insurance Commission says life insurance penetration is low because the level of insurance literacy is low among majority of the Ghanaian populace. A 2014 report issued by the Swiss Re and African Insurance Organization reveals that insurance penetration in some African countries indicates that in South Africa, insurance penetration stood at 14.5%, Namibia 7.5%, Mauritius 5.7%, and that of Botswana and Kenya was 3.7%. Speaking to GBC24, a lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Mr. Lord Mensah, said the low level of insurance penetration in Ghana is as a result of the low level of insurance education.
We need to educate the people for them to understand, because financial literacy, if you go to some countries, is a policy. It's a policy which needs to be enacted by the parliament for the people to understand what an insurance is and then what a financial system is. An effective insurance system will help to bridge the gap between the real sector of the economy and then also the financial sector. So we need the two hand in hand to move on.
He said that the levels of income in the country are very low, which makes it difficult for people to save for insurance.
It depends on your disposable income. I will put it that way. Because I always tell my students in class that if you're hungry, you don't think about the future. If you don't have the necessary income, or you can only think about the future, insurance is part of, I would say, it's part of the investment categories that we have, looking at the future, which is uncertain. So at the end of the day, you might look at it this way. I don't have enough funds, so how do I insure myself? Even whatever I will consume today, I don't have it. So the deferment for the future is not there. So it's a dicey situation when you tell people who are hungry to go and take insurance. It is difficult.
He said individuals will only start to think about long-term savings once their short-term needs are fulfilled, which means that insurance is not an affordable option for most people in Ghana and Africa at large.
The insurance news was brought to you by SIC Life. That's all for business. Have a good evening.
Good evening. It's time to do health news here on News Hour, proudly brought to you by FPAC. My name is Evans Achampon. Public health officials have admitted that the Zika virus is scarier than first thought, and its impact on the U.S. could be greater than predicted. Dr. Ann Shushat of the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention says a wider range of birth defects have been linked to the virus, and the mosquitoes that carry the virus could travel to more U.S. states than previously thought. The current Zika outbreak began almost a year ago in Brazil. It has been linked to thousands of birth defects and has spread widely through the Americas. Now, the people of Koji, a fishing and a farming community near Anloga in the Volta region, are appealing to the government to upgrade the only clinic in the community. It serves over 4,000 people in Koji and surrounding communities.
The village of Koji has a population of about 600 people. It is neighbors with 5 communities, namely Deta, Fiaho, Latame, Atito and Alakmle. The only clinic for these areas, the Kutuka Memorial Clinic, built in 1975, is in dire need of an uplift. The chief of the village, Togbi Dalla Avage, says demand on the facility far outweighs the inadequate logistics available.
The logistics are not coming. And moreover, we don't have a shed for weighing. So whenever they are weighing children, and then all of a sudden the rest set, then they have to what? They find it very difficult. We are only appealing to the district assembly, and that, for that matter, the central government to come to our aid.
The medical personnel in charge of the clinic, Ms. Margaret Adatowovo, enumerated a number of challenges facing the clinic. The clinic has only 3 staff, which does not include a midwife. The absence of a fence around the clinic makes it easy for stray cattle to loiter about the facility.
Cattle are disturbing us here. You will see them loitering around, defecating all around the facility. And the fence that they made for the facility, they've destroyed all of them. So right now the facility is not having a good fence. Anytime we get a maternal case which need a midwife to attend to that case is a problem because there's no midwife. So when we refer the case to the next facility, to the ambulance service, or getting a car to the next referral point to, is a problem.
She applauded government for assisting them, but appealed for more support to enable the facility provide adequate health care to the people.
Now, osteoarthritis of the hip usually causes pain. The pain is mostly in the groin, thigh, or buttocks, and worsens with bodily movements such as getting up, walking, standing, or swinging of the limbs. 29-year-old Ferdinand Doche is suffering from this condition and needs 35,640 Ghana cedis to undergo a medical procedure.
Since his birth, Ferdinand Doche has suffered a series of crises, and 6 years ago, it worsened, leading to a medical condition known as osteoarthritis of the hip. It occurs when inflammation and injury to a joint cause a breakdown of cartilage tissue. In turn, that breakdown causes pain, swelling and deformity. Ferdinand is a nurse at the Volta Regional Hospital, but due to his current condition, he's unable to go to work regularly since he now has difficulty walking. According to him, the pain is very sharp and stubborn and often makes his hip stiff. He's therefore appealing for financial assistance to undergo surgery at a total cost of 35,640 Ghana cedis.
Walking is very difficult for me these days. With every step I take, I feel a lot of pain. So I'm appealing to the public to help me, to assist me in paying for the surgery.
Anyone who wants to support Ferdinand Doche could do so through the following account details. Ferdinand Doche, Ghana Commercial Bank, Hill Branch, account number 501 101 013 070, or the person can contact Ferdinand on 0207 090 049.
And in our health diary tonight, the health desk takes a look at fruits and vegetables, which constitute an important part of our diet.
Fruit is the sweet, fleshy, edible part of a plant which generally contains seeds. Fruits are usually eaten raw, although some varieties can be cooked. They come in a wide variety of colors, shapes, and flavors. Common types of fruits that are readily available include apples, pears, oranges, grapefruits, bananas, watermelon, and mangoes. Vegetables are plants or plant parts grown for use as food and eaten raw or cooked. usually as part of a meal. They are available in many varieties, and common examples include tomatoes, pepper, lettuce, cabbage, cucumber and onion. Fruits and vegetables are an excellent source of carbohydrate and aid in disease prevention. They are an important part of a healthy diet. Fruits and vegetables contain many vitamins and minerals that are good for our health. These include vitamins, magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, and folic acid. Fruits and vegetables are low in fat, salt, and sugar. They can help reduce obesity, maintain a healthy weight, lower cholesterol level, and also lower one's blood pressure. The next time you are consuming your favorite delicacy, don't forget to add some fruits and vegetables to promote a healthy lifestyle.
And that's all we have for you by way of health news. International news is next. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. On the foreign front, the World Health Organization says an outbreak of yellow fever has killed 21 people in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The disease has already been reported in neighboring Angola. The WHO said the deaths occurred between January and March. 151 suspected cases have been recorded. The acute mosquito-borne viral disease has killed 225 people in Angola and infected about 1,600. A public prosecutor investigating a wave of kidnappings in Mozambique has been shot dead in the capital Maputo. Marcelino Vilanculo was killed outside his home in Matola, a suburb of the city. Mr. Vilanculo was working on a case involving one of the alleged masterminds of the abductions. Kidnapping gangs have targeted many Asian businessmen in Maputo and Mozambique's second city. 2 years ago, Judge Denise Silika was killed after authorizing the detention of one of the suspects. Died. A French soldier has died during a military operation in northern Mali. The soldier was killed by a landmine while traveling in an armored vehicle. The Defense Ministry said a convoy of vehicles was heading north from Gao to the town of Tessalit when a mine exploded under the lead vehicle. 3 other soldiers in the same vehicle were injured by the blast. Sports news is up next.
Good evening and updates from the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. We have been backed by JPS Tornado Betters to some positive news now, where the senior women's football team, the Black Queens, have qualified for the 2016 African Women's Championship in Cameroon. They beat the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia by 4-0. Striker Samira Suleiman opened the scoring in the 27th minute. Portia Boachi unleashed a thunderbolt in the 33rd minute to make it 2-0. Back from the break, Coach Bazigi's side, led by Priscilla Adubia, dribbled 3 Tunisian defenders and rounded the goalkeeper to make it 3-0 in the 75th minute. Samira Suleiman then made it 4 and had a brace in the 83rd minute when he ballooned in a goal. The result means the Black Queens qualified on a 6-1 aggregate and will be making their 9th appearance at the competition. The AFCON starts in November this year. Marshall's University College male basketball team emerged victorious in the just-ended annual basketball scouting camp at the Aviation Social Center. They defeated Royalty Sports Academy by 34 points to 20. The Easter Ballers Camp is a basketball scouting initiative put together by the Royalty Sports Academy Foundation in collaboration with the African Youth Basketball Organization, a US-based scouting institution, GTV Sports Plus, HFC Bank and Graphic Sports. The 3-week event was aimed at developing the skills of players for the international stage. As part of the program, a special tournament dubbed the Collegiate Championship had the Central University, Marshall's University, Blue Crest University and the Royalty Sports Academy battling for honors. Marshall's University College was outstanding. The team did not only show class by going unbeaten, but showed immense character by fighting through for 34 points to 20 win over the Royalty Sports Academy after 2 overtime periods. The likes of Adade, Lai, Dawson, Wahab, Kwashi and Salifu Jameni were the toast of fans. At the end, 20 of the best were selected for further grooming before getting access to an educational scholarship in the USA. Organizers urged the selected students to train and study harder.
We want to use sports and basketball to start with as a tool, a vehicle for you to gain education abroad and for you to be a better individual.
I'm a Ghanaian born in the U.S. And without this game of basketball, I could have gone to jail. I could be on drugs. There could be a lot of things that could have happened to me. Basketball helped me to get a college scholarship and a degree. It's helped me to come back here and give everything that I have back to this game and to my country.
Go show your talent to the world. Go make Ghana proud, each and every one of you. Remember where you started from. That's important. Work hard for yourself, your family, and your nation. Most of all, be disciplined. It will help you soar higher. Believe in yourself. Trust in God. He will never fail you. HFC Bank wishes you all the best.
The MVP of the competition was won by John Tai Okumi. He had 1,000 Ghana cedis from HFC Bank. Marshall's University took away the trophy at stake. In athletics, Samuel Intra of Insutra Senior High School is the winner of the regional Millennium Marathon in the Bonahafo region. Tetra finished the 10.5-kilometer race in a time of 34.34 and 47 microseconds. Bongahafo's regional capital, Sunyani, was the third venue for the second edition of the annual Millennium Marathon race. The 10.5-kilometer race attracted loads of runners. A long-distance runner who graduated recently from Insuatra SHS, Master Samuel Tetra, shook off stand competition from Isa Fusaini to cross the finish line in a keenly contested 10.5-kilometer race. The top 3 athletes in the annual event all crossed the line under the 34 minutes barrier in a photo finish and were separated by just fractions of seconds. Isa Fuseni kept his composure throughout the energy-sapping long-distance event, but had to settle for the second place behind Samuel Tetra. The 23-year-old graduate from Kintampo, however, held off late challenge from Emmanuel Stephen Fia, who settled for third place at the end of the day. For finishing first, Samuel Tetra took away a cash prize of 400 Ghana cedis and other souvenirs. The second and third place athletes each took home 250 Ghana cedis and 200 cedis. The National Annual Millennium Marathon race is scheduled for September 3rd, 2016 in Accra. Thanks for watching.
Hello, good evening. Time for some arts news. My name is Valerie Danso. The former president of the Ghana Actors Guild, Ni Odoi Mensah, has died. Ni Odoi is reported to have died after undergoing a kidney transplant in China. His death follows that of the Actors Guild president, Eddie Kofi, who died late last year. Doctors declared both kidneys incapable of performing their key functions effectively to keep him alive. Neodoi Mensah announced in January 2015 he was suffering from a chronic kidney failure. He revealed he had to cough up $300 each week on dialysis. He traveled to China for treatment 2 weeks ago, but was unable to raise the required $25,000 for the surgery. Mr. Odoi Mensah was well known in Ghanaian movies during the 90s and early 2000s. He starred alongside veteran actors such as Grace Norte, Bill Riverson Jr., Victor Lutrot, among others. Let's now take a look at some stories that are trending. That's it for the segment. Have a good evening.
Well, that's it for the news for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back at 10:30 with news tonight.